the economic and productive good, the benefit of IT, is what is driving the world's economy. It's what's driving everything else. And, by the way, it's what's driving the solutions.
The Uptime Institute has a very long history of going and solving problems directly by studying them, by inviting in their corporate partners, and writing up the results in such a way that larger communities can learn from them.
I think that the Uptime Institute essentially is a design organization, right? And this is a very large-scale design issue. So from that standpoint, yes, it's taking very fresh and new approaches to designs that work.
They and Grove-Associates are going to work together with the interested parties who would like to take this method of several pilots simultaneously and reporting on them in a very rapid fashion. So we'll take novel, innovative collaboration out of the IT industry and use it appropriately in pharmaceuticals, land transportation, renewables, other kinds of opportunities to solve global warming issues.
I definitely think novel, innovative collaboration has taken hold of this industry, and I think it's evident by virtue of the fact that you have, frankly, a tremendous open collaboration between companies that fiercely compete with one another in areas of products, and yet you see really no trace of, or very little or few traces of, really the adversarial attitudes that are persistent in very competitive industries.
Data center folks are more open that way now. When we started, companies wanted us to sign non-disclosure agreements and not tell anybody about the findings, other than in a sanitized way.
I've been covering the data center and energy efficiency for the last several years, and I think that probably this is the most collaboration and type of a scalable sort of change that I've seen happen. It's really dramatic. If there weren't some type of novel, innovative collaboration happening, this change would not be taking place.
With data centers growing as fast as they're growing, with the growth in the industry as rapid as it is, and really the concerns about reaching a crisis point with energy consumption, you need a novel, innovative, collaborative approach like this to solve the problems. We can't take the time that's required to do individual trial and error and the competitive process weed out the mistakes. There needs to be a lot of cross-pollination between multiple companies, so we're getting all the best ideas rising to the top as quickly as possible and discarding the bogus ones.
Everybody now gains, and we're able to advance the efficiency of our data centers much, much, much faster. You know, it's a leapfrog approach than trying to wait through these generations of new data centers or new technologies or new servers to come about. They're all building. So we have a duty to go educate and help to make sure that you're not making a mistake. You've got big companies that have been around 10, 12 years that are still doing legacy-based design data centers and contributing carbon, burning more and more. So from this, I think that the collaboration is immensely helpful for everyone in the industry, and we all gain, and we all still maintain some competitive advantage, while at the same time we're all elevating each other to a much greater efficiency.
There are some problems that are point problems that can be solved with a simple, optimized solution. In today's world, and especially in the IT area, where you're dealing with lots of complexity, achieving the efficiency that you want, whether it's energy efficiency or operational efficiency or whatever, you absolutely can't. Trying to optimize for the individual points will not optimize the overall system. And this is the breakthrough point that I think the industry, the IT industry, is at, where the boundaries are getting broken down and being blurred, and people are working collaboratively toward that one goal of efficiency, energy independence, low carbon emission, etc.
The idea was, if I can get and attract or somehow convince, people that have been innovative or were entrepreneurs or that had some time and opportunity to do this and just said, here's an idea, take it, develop it as you see fit, and there are no rules. We're very loose objective, very loose goal, make of it what you do once you get people engaged.
We're finding some interesting dynamics where leadership actually emerges from interesting places. So we've lived in a world where leadership has been a top-down phenomenon. It's very much command and control in how we think about most things that we're trying to get done. But what's interesting is when you act very large, very complex problems, new voices tend to emerge. And sometimes those are the voices that you expect, but very often those are voices that you least expect, coming from areas in an organization that normally don't have a strong voice.
During the process, folks were trying to understand just what roles to bring to bear. And the nice part was the goal was always clear. And that applied to data centers, that applied to how companies consume energy. So we all had the same goal in mind.
I've walked 2,200 people through our Santa Clara data center in the last 3 quarters, right? My team has. And of that, 21 of those companies have shared with me what they're doing in data centers. That's $19 billion in construction, just with those 21 companies, just in the U.S.
We were able to work with both our competitors in terms of collaborating on some new ideas, as well as working with a number of our potential customers to try them out.
So we generate the heat inside the data center. We should be helping with how you actually neutralize that heat in that room. We want to share our information and with the industry and with our customers so that they can go back and not make the mistakes we do, since we have a portfolio that's very similar to our customers.
One of the things that I saw today, though, that was just the most fascinating aspect for me as a journalist was I was touring the Sun Microsystems data center, and the Sun Microsystems dean, the gentleman who was leading the tour and is Sun Microsystems chief engineer on the data center construction and engineering, is putting competitors into the same operation and making them duke it out. And these competitors, who are very interested in selling their own products, are learning from each other. Emerson Network Power, the Liebert brand, has changed some of its products based on Sun's recommendations on things that APC does better. This would take, this is marketing budgets and people lobbing complaints at each other over the wall. You'd never get this kind of rapid product development change, improvement in a product.
The method for the way that problems were solved here is definitely scalable. So that's the most interesting part of the novel, innovative collaboration.
Think about if we can improve the efficiency by, let's say, cutting it in half, which is probably what we're going to achieve within about a 2 to 3 year period of what it was. Think about if we applied that to also other industries. Let's take transportation, for example, right? The gains we can make in transportation by having a very novel collaborative effort that all the manufacturers of vehicles come together and say, let's do this better. Let's not all just go off our own world and focus on, I'm going to create a fuel cell, and I'm going to create an all-electric, and I'm going to create a plug-in hybrid, and let's all do our own separate thing. Let's collaborate, come up with what's the best solution altogether, share what each company is learning, because that's what we've done in this data center industry collaboration, and it's been immensely helpful.
Trying to optimize for the individual points will not optimize the overall system.
I think what we'd like to try to see in the future, and we're certainly encouraging this at EPA, is to take some of those same approaches and apply them to other areas. We would like to see all sorts of sectors, whether it be transportation, whether it be buildings, whether it be other areas, where we can collaboratively come up with approaches that will help find and execute the most cost-effective investments that can be made in efficiency to reduce energy consumption.
We can use the same paradigm if we would like to solve problems in healthcare or in regional transport.
How do you go through a transformational process? And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a shift change within a particular set of disciplines. And it does take that kind of thinking.